So this is the last video in a 3-part series about easy songwriting hacks. In the first 2 videos I talked about easy hacks and solutions to common problems every songwriter faces at some stage. Video 1 was about less is more, something I believe is always applicable when it comes to songwriting. Video 2... it's so weird. Part 2 was all about how more often than not the solution to a problem can be found in the problem itself. You can check out both those videos linked below. So in this video we're going to focus on simplicity, how the easiest solution should always be our first choice. Hi, I'm Tony from Songwriters Chop Shop. Getting started. Getting started can often be one of the biggest challenges in songwriting. We think we need to wait for inspiration or be in the right mood or have gone through a really painful life experience to write about. These are all valid ways to start creating, but inspiration isn't something you have to wait for. It can be coaxed out of you if you know how. Life experience is great, but sometimes it's too overwhelming to write about the really important stuff. So that makes it hard to write something that's not just totally self-indulgent, something that the audience will enjoy, because if we're too close to something, we don't really have any true perspective on it. Take some of your favourite songs and pick the lyrics from one, the melody from another, the chords from one, and the rhythms from another, and do a mashup until it starts to sound like something original or it starts to spark off ideas. This is a really common practice, and to see what I mean, just have a listen to Uptown Funk, and then listen to Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, Oops Upside the Head by the Gap Band, Everything Gold by Trinidad James, and Ladies Night by Kool and the Gang, and you'll get the idea. Try taking common chord progressions and starting them in different places. Even try it with the highly criticised 1-5 minor 6 4 chord progression. Shorten the length you hold a chord to and hold others for longer. Try using chord substitutions and inversions to create descending bass lines. There's plenty of ways to make something overused sound fresh, and along the way the chances are inspiration's going to kick in, even if that means going off on a completely different tangent. Try randomly combining words and phrases, motifs and melodies and see what happens. Pick a subject and do a stream of consciousness song. If you don't know what that is, check out this video. Learn the craft, find some songwriting exercises and see if they spark off any ideas as you're doing them. Collaborate with someone, and it doesn't even have to be another songwriter or even someone you've ever met before. You could try writing music for a painting that takes your interest, or a new soundtrack for a movie or a TV show. Download some MIDI files and start changing things around and see what happens. Take some sheet music and just play it backwards, or use some of your favourite songs as templates to work from. I go into that in this video if you want to check it out. Do you ever get bored of a song before you're even finished it, or just lose your perspective because you've listened to it too much? Every songwriter goes through this, it's just part of the process. It fits into the category of the law of diminishing returns. It's like when you have a delicious meal, the first bite is always way more tasty than the last. So some of the things we can do to remedy this situation is to let the song happen organically. Don't play it the same way twice as you're writing the song. If you have habits in your songwriting process, try and change them up. For instance, if you start with writing the lyrics, then why not try starting with the melody or the chords for a change and alternate between them. Take a note of your habits and intentionally go against the grain, and even change up the way you go about working on these things, like a vocal melody. Try and syncopate the rhythm, start it on different positions on the musical bar, hold some notes for longer, some notes for shorter, hold notes for different lengths, even improvise a new vocal melody every time you play it. Use chord substitutions and inversions every time you play the harmony. Play it in a major key, a minor key, try it with different tempos, in different styles and different genres. Even play it on different instruments. Constantly changing things up is not only a way to keep writing this song, but it's also a fun way to explore all its possibilities. The song will sound new to you every time you work on it, but your subconscious will start to have expectations about what it wants to hear. Like, oh, this part needs to do this or it needs to do that. So when you play it like that, that little light bulb will go off. This way we're leaving all the hard decisions that we have to make as songwriters to your subconscious mind. There's a saying, if you want something done fast, ask a busy person to do it for you. So why not try working on a few songs at the same time? And do the opposite of that from time to time as well. Work on your music a little bit, then drop it. Give it a chance to come to you. Play hard to get. Or consciously just make shorter songs. It's a good way to leave them wanting more. Let go of the need to be perfect. And if you're feeling bored of a song before you finish it, ask yourself, is it the song you're bored of or your process? Change up your environment. Go to somewhere where you wouldn't usually write a song and work on it there. I go into more ways about how to change things up in this video. If you want to check it out, I've linked it in the description. And if you think it won't be so random, just make you lose perspective quicker and get confused, well, not if you decide on a home base, a solid place from which to explore your musical ideas. You can do this by picking a theme and an emotional point of view and stick it on the wall, not just on your phone, put it somewhere where you can't help but see it. I go into how to come up with themes and emotional points of view in this video if you need any help with it, so check it out, it's linked below. So here's a few quick tips and shortcuts to help you write a song faster, to cut down on your chances of getting bored with it. Pick a title and write from that. This is one of the best ways to keep your ideas focused. Recycle some of your melodic ideas. I go into that in this video here if you want to check it out. Plan your song out a little bit, this will save time in the long run. Stop wanting to be finished. There's so many works of great art that took many years to complete, so take your eye off the finish line and put it into the present moment. Give yourself a deadline so you don't have time to overthink things. But taking regular breaks will stop you getting fixated on certain aspects of the song and give you more mental space to make better decisions. Sometimes it can be hard to know when a song is finished, to know when to leave well enough alone. Again, this is something even the most experienced songwriters have trouble with, and the truth is, it takes experience to remedy the situation. So why not give yourself that experience? Take a song that you're relatively happy with and destroy it. Work on it till it's ruined. If you do this with a few songs consciously, then you'll start to understand when to leave well enough alone. So take one of your songs that you're relatively happy with, make a quick demo so any changes won't be permanent, and then just work on it till it's ruined. And I mean completely destroy it. But also try and notice at what point things started to go south. But remember to have fun with it. One of the reasons this happens in the first place is because of our need to be perfect or to write great songs or the next big hit. So take one of your songs and absolutely all over it. So the last kind of hack I want to give you is to think about your favorite songs, but think about how those songs became your favorite songs. For me, it usually starts with the music and the rhythm and the melody hooking me in, and then later on, after a few listens, I start to hear what the lyrics are all about. It might be different for you, but think about where you were and why you noticed what you noticed about some of your favorite songs when you first heard them. Then we can use that knowledge to recreate the same experience for an intended audience. As creative artists, we tend to be self-absorbed. I know this for a fact because I'm one of them. We get caught up in our own emotions rather than thinking what the audience is going to get out of our creations. And of course you can't get carried away second guessing yourself or guessing what an audience wants or trying to please everyone. But this isn't about pleasing everyone, this is about pleasing a specific intended audience. It's about connecting with a specific group of people, because like it or not, you or I didn't invent music, so our music's going to fall into a category, and that category is going to have a certain type of people that like it. They're going to have certain likes and dislikes, and if we know some of this, we can use that information to connect with them. And how do we do that? Well, with songcraft. Now I know there's a lot of people that say that a song should only be from the heart and all kind of structure and technique talk is just nonsense. But that's not true. If structure was nonsense, no one would be able to communicate. Look at it this way, every time you talk to someone, you're adhering to the structure of a language. You just don't notice it because you're so used to it. And music's the same, every beat and every note you play, it's all part of a structure. And that's a good thing, because it's how we communicate. Think about it. If you are angry, how would you communicate that? You have a couple of options. First of all, you could start screaming and smashing things, and that's a fine expression of anger. But say you wanted someone to relate to that, to understand why you were angry. Smashing things and screaming, that's great. People will get the message that you're angry, but they'll also probably think you're a bit of a dick. So what's a more effective way of communicating that you're angry? You use words. You use the structure of language. So like it or not, music and language have structure, and so does nearly everything else that makes up a song. And the better you are at knowing these things, the better you are at communicating with them, and the more chance you stand of reaching a wider audience. So focus on what you want the listener to feel rather than your own emotions. Sure, let your own emotions guide you to that emotional center, but then work from there and use structures. Don't be afraid of literary concepts, songcraft, and don't switch off when someone mentions music theory. I'm not suggesting you should sit down and start studying these things avidly, but if you can apply them little by little to the songs you're working on, you'll see a huge difference in your writing. So take one of the songs you're working on at the moment and try some alliteration, some similes, some metaphors. Look at the sections of your songs and see how many lines are in it. Try to take away some and add some and see what difference that makes. Use different rhyme types and see what effect that has. Learn and apply songcraft and theory as you need it, but don't shy away from it, because you'll just end up doing the same thing over and over again, and that's not productive practice. Productive practice is as much about learning as it is about doing, and the better you understand these tools and are able to use them, the better you are at creating experiences for other people. And that's what music is all about, the experience you can create for someone else, not just yourself. Catch you next time!